Hi, and welcome to the third episode of The Story and the Song. My name is Adri Love. I'm a singer songwriter based here on the west coast of BC, Canada, otherwise known as Turtle Island. If you haven't had a chance to check out the other two episodes with Troy Gilmore and Rebecca Cichon, please have a listen. There's such great convos, and leave me some feedback. I really would love to. If I'm not covering a topic that you would love some more info on, I'd love to find a guest that specializes in that. I do want this podcast to not only be conversational, but also educational. So let me know. And of course, like and subscribe. Let's help this little podcast along, and your support is greatly appreciated. Um, this next guest is Georgia Lee Johnson. I took a little trip out to Squamish to have a conversation with her at her home, and we connected on topics such as songwriting, trying different techniques, methods, constantly challenging yourself as an artist. Georgia really embodies that, and motherhood, and she just gets really vulnerable with us about her journey and all of her reflections that she's had, as she's continuing to do her art while also being a mother, and just how that has felt for her and how that has influenced her latest EP that she released called Child of My Heart. So we get into all of those topics. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So enjoy.
Hope you work.
Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to my backyard.
Yeah. Here we are in Squamish, BC. And we have the backdrop here that has informed so much of your music. How long have you lived here in Squamish?
In Squamish, 5 years.
Yeah.
And then here, like 1 month.
Okay.
But yes, being in the mountains and the rivers, as my home backdrop, it's been about, I am going to hold it,
Sure.
5 years.
Okay. Cool. And your EP is out now.
Yes. Yeah,
We can
feels so
talk
good.
about that in
Yay!
full. Child of My Heart.
Yes.
Please go listen to it. It's on all streaming platforms. This is how many EPs have you released now?
I think this is my third EP, and then I've done 2 albums as well.
Amazing. So how does it feel to we're definitely in the outdoors. There's
Yes.
a fly that's hounding me.
Yes.
How does it feel to release this EP, like after everything you've done? How does this EP kind of does it feel different? I mean, you've gone through so many
Yes.
transitions since,
Yes, I
Yeah.
feel well, like the theme, obviously I was writing through the transition of becoming a mother, and I think I just started connecting with my art from a different place, and so I feel that I have a different connection with my writing, but I also for the first time arranged the songs with the band before we went into the studio, and then we recorded them live as a band. So it's the first time I've recorded that way.
Okay.
I've always done more singer-songwritery, like laying down track by track and kind of going along and making decisions with the producer, kind of like arranging as you go. That's what I did on my previous albums. But sorry, Lady Love was actually we arranged those songs with the band as well, and it was the same players.
Oh,
so yeah, I guess it's just been a while since then.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I in releasing this music, I just started taking myself a lot more seriously, and at the same time I'm having a lot more fun. But I was just like, no, I have something worth saying and I want people to listen to it. And I've always been very timid about sharing my work before, and being like, oh, why aren't people listening to it? But I don't want to self-promote, and just this like push pull, and not really just like going for it. And this time I just feel like I'm not really holding back. I just want to keep like sharing about it and talking about it.
Okay. good. Yeah, amazing.
Some
Just
block
like,
there, I think, was
yeah, like coming out
lifted.
of your shell, like just, you know what, like I have this catalog of work I've done, like it's time to feel proud of
Yeah.
it and
I
just
think
like
the
get
first,
excited.
definitely for me, like the first 10 years of writing songs and performing um has been, it's a lot of like practice and like figuring out who I am and what do I want to say and do I even like, can I even really do this? And it's just everything that I've made to date has felt like some kind of exercise in like
Mhm.
figuring out um yeah, like, do I want to do this? Can I do this? It just takes a lot of, I have to do like a lot of trial and error. And then there was kind of this gap of time around when I had my son. And I was like, no, like I really am, I'm going to make music for my whole life. Like, doesn't matter what else I'm also doing. But I just feel like I went into it with a lot more confidence and clarity.
Mhm.
Um, and so
Mhm.
now I feel like I was actually like wanting to make a product. I want it to live in, I want it to like reach people in a certain way.
Mhm.
I have a lot more like intention behind it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
amazing. And so you were feeling that sorry before you were releasing the EP or
Yeah, as soon as I started applying for grants, that was one of the like clear points was I was like, if I'm gonna make a record, like it it can't drain all of me and my energy and resources. It has to be sustainable with my life. So one of the things is like I have to get funding. I can't just like only put my savings into projects,
right.
which is like a lot of what I've done in the past is
Yes,
like
I know.
just
I
kind of
feel
like
you on that.
scrounge.
Yeah.
um so like, and that means that if I'm applying for a grant that I have to already articulate kind of what it is and what purpose it's going to have.
Yeah.
So yeah, that grant application happened before I even got into the studio. And so
Cool.
by the time I got into the studio, I still didn't know if we got the grant yet, but um I already was kind of like set on a course of, I knew it's going to be 5 songs.
Mhm.
I knew there were going to be some visuals attached to it with some live band videos. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so with that like really strong intention behind it,
Mhm.
are you noticing like the feedback that you're getting from people? Like I mean even you got to
Mhm.
be on the radio, which was
Yeah.
that a first
So there's,
time thing
I've been on the
as
radio a
well?
couple times
Have
in
you?
Squamish.
Okay.
So there's on
Nice.
Mountain FM,
Yeah.
Darren McPeak does
Yeah.
the morning show,
Yeah.
and he's just like the friendliest guy ever. And I met him very randomly at, we were both at the open house for Under One Roof, which is like a, it's like a non-for-profit shelter type
Mhm.
place, and they had an open house and I went to visit and he was there. And I think he had seen me perform once and was like, Georgia Lee Johnson. I was like, does anybody like know who I am? By Georgia Lee Johnson. So, and I was like, yes. And he's like, I'm Darren McPeak. I'm like, oh, I actually know that name too. So, and then, yeah, he had me on just to talk about music back then. And then I was running a music festival, Campbell Bay Music Festival, the last couple of years. And he, he wanted to go.
Okay.
As like, yeah, so he invited me on to talk about that. So every now and then I run into him and he's like, let me know if you got new music coming up. And I'm like, okay,
This is
like
the
don't,
time.
like
Yeah.
you have to like remember these people in your life, Georgia. And I
Yes.
feel like there are people like that in my life. Like I do have people who want to support me with whatever, however they can.
Yeah.
There's another guy in Vancouver, Mark Bussey, and he
Okay.
does creative mornings. It's like a kind of like a TED Talk format,
Right. Okay.
but he also puts on concerts, and I've done a few concerts in the venue that he organizes them in. And he wrote, like, I reached out to him because he's a supporter of the arts, and he wrote a glowing letter of support for me for the grant. And
Nice.
so, yeah, I've been trying to just like remember the importance of those relationships. So,
Yes.
yeah, I forget what your original question was.
Yeah, I know. I know I kind of
I
sidetracked
was
us
on the
from the
radio.
radio part.
Oh, the response
But yeah,
with
the
the EP.
response, like how are the
Yeah.
songs landing with people and
Yeah,
like
I think good. I feel like I'll definitely have a more real like finger on the pulse when I start performing them
yeah.
with the band.
Yeah.
I've played some of these songs in performances recently, and people are like positive. I actually I'll have to tell you a story.
Oh, okay. Can we share the story or
yeah,
not? Okay.
I can dive in right now.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this. So I hadn't been planning shows around this release. I knew I was gonna plan something later in the fall with my band, like an EP release show, but then they do this free music in the park in Squamish every Thursday in the summer, and they were looking for some performers to play like a 20-minute set. And so I just reached out and it lined up for me to do it. And so I played all the new songs. I kind of for myself was like, this is a good practice round because like the EP's not out yet. Like I'm not trying to hype it up, but I need to get in the habit of performing them. And so I was just playing them solo. So I played all of the songs plus one unreleased song. And people are always very sweet after shows and like say good job and stuff like that. But this one man, we dove into the deepest heart to heart, and basically it started with, he was like, hey, that was like, whoa, what you did up there. And he kept doing this gesture of like his hands near his heart and like expanding, and he was like, you know about something with this. And I was like, what are you trying to say?
Wow.
And he's like, the heart. And I was like, okay, yes, let's talk about this.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting
So
chills
this
everywhere.
this beautiful man was in a wheelchair. He ended up like telling me his whole life story. He had broken his back 10 years ago living in Whistler, lost so much in his life through that. Basically was just beginning this journey of like realizing that he has feelings and a heart, which up until that point in his life, like he's somebody who was raised to not feel that part of themselves, I guess.
Wow.
So he's telling me all these ways that this is starting to open up for him, and it's also really, it's a lot to handle, like when your heart starts feeling for the first time. Totally. But I'm just like, oh my god, talk to me, tell me more, because this is like the land that I'm trying to move through when I'm working with music, is like this landscape of the heart and the feelings. And yeah, and so we just dove really deep, and I cried all the way home. I was just like so extremely grateful that connection was made through the music, and that somehow through the songs there was like a bridging that we could start talking about these things.
Yes.
It's like and that's really my hope when people come to a performance, is that there's like an invitation there, like we can skip all the small talk and we can just dive right in.
Oh my gosh.
And so that happened, and I just felt like I'm gonna remember this my whole life, and I'm gonna, he moved to Squamish so that his life getting around and being in a wheelchair is easier. And I just like I hope I run into him. I wish him well. I don't know if he'll listen to this podcast, but yeah, it was so special.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I feel like that's just that what songwriters and artists say, like as long as I reach one person in the audience, you've done your job.
And this was like
to the depth of it, like
this was really a very clear affirmation right before the EP came out that was like a reminder to me, like, don't get caught up in thinking that this is about the streams or the popularity contest or people, getting all hyped up about my brand or whatever. Right. Like that's often what I see other singer-songwriters doing really well, and I'm really envious. I'm like, how come I don't have that? And this was just a clear reminder. It was like, that's not your path, or like whatever. Maybe one day some of your songs will be popular. It
starts with him, and it's gonna grow. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I hope that it grows in the way that it wants to grow, and it's really like person to person, heart to heart.
Yes.
Like feeling connected, and yeah.
Wow.
So I feel like I already did my job, because he brought me that like affirmation, and so then the songs came out, and I was like, okay, bonus, like there's some music out in the world.
Okay, so this happened before you released the EP. Wow, so cool. And I mean, the tying in, like, he really picked up on what you were putting down. I mean, your EP is called Child of My Heart. You have a song on there called Shape of My Heart.
Yes.
Like, That's such a
Yeah.
cool connection. Like,
Hmm.
do you feel like there's a connection there
With
yourself with just,
like thematically
yeah.
across, yeah. I kind of feel like the process of becoming a mother is like a death and a rebirth.
Mhm.
Um which is, it's hard to like let go into that because you want it to be only a like positive happy thing, and it is a lot of that, but also parts of yourselves are dying and they will never live again. Sorry. And there I had like a lot of grief, and so
Yeah.
in only 5 songs I feel like I'm trying to bring the listeners along on some parts of that journey where there's kind of teach me how to speak is very joyful, and it's kind of like waking up to um remembering that like life can be really good, but then it goes down into Rage the River, which I just remember I had so much like suppressed anger and rage that just
Yes.
surfaced so easily in that postpartum time.
Mm.
And but then rage and anger kind of let go into this grief and
Mm.
sadness. For me, the anger is like this holding on. And then if you like let it go, it usually passes into this kind of grace, but it involves letting go.
Yeah.
And then shape, then I have Forever Blue is the middle song. It's kind of the transition song, and it kind of anchors it because that's the song I wrote for my son.
Yeah.
And it's also this promise that I'm going to love you forever,
Mhm.
and that the new me is this me that has a capacity to like be there for someone through eternity, and that's like a new orientation in the world that I've never had before.
Yeah.
And then Shape of My Heart comes and is I got the idea for that song from um, a poet that I like, David White. He wrote a poem called How to Make a Promise,
Mm.
and I don't have it memorized, but you could read that poem.
Okay.
And then years later, he wrote a poem called How to Break a Promise, and they're the
Mm.
same words. So
Oh.
how to like authentically make a promise is the same recipe for how to break a promise, because the thing that you promise,
Yeah.
in time you will have to break that promise, because the shape, like the form that your commitment takes, is going to change shape. And so Shape of My Heart is kind of coming to terms with like, I have all these promises that I want to fulfill in my commitments, but how I am inside of those has all changed.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then Clover Green, the final song, is kind of bringing it full circle. Is the first line is, child of my heart, you've turned your face to me, you've held out your hand and given me the key. And in the beginning I thought this is a song about my son again.
Mhm. Yeah.
But really it became in my imagination like the child that I'm taking care of, he's inviting me in this
Mm.
process of meeting my own inner child, and that child is who the song is about. And
Yeah.
so in the end it comes back to reconnecting with the joy of that inner being.
Yeah, and
So
what is the
yeah.
line in that? Because I was listening to it on the way here, and I was like, "Oh, she's talking about her inner child." Like at the,
Well, at the end,
yeah, where you're talking
so
about
I
looking in
say,
the mirror and you see
yeah,
yourself. Is that?
yes. I'm so bad at remembering the lyrics without it. Um, um, so the chorus that happens each time goes, finding you was the hardest thing, meeting you was a mystery, knowing you is sweet relief, loving through eternity. And then at the end of the song it extends and it goes, I am you and you are me, I am you and you are me. Growing up, we make believe. Look into a mirror, I see a child staring back at me.
Yes.
And honestly,
Oh,
I've like
I
looked into the
love those
mirror
lyrics.
so many times, and I see my face, I see my son's face, I see myself as a child, and I'm like, who am I pretending to be? An adult. But
Right.
apparently, like,
There's all these
I
different parts of you that are
yeah.
just alive and well. And
Mhm.
how has your songwriting contributed to that
Mm.
evolution?
Oh yeah, songwriting for me and journaling, cuz like I journal probably like for every like 30 times I sit down to journal, I'll write one song. So like journaling always leads into songwriting,
Hmm.
but it's a much more like consistent practice. Um
And you were journaling before you were songwriting.
yes, like all since I was probably like 13 or 14 and I started getting really into acting,
Hmm.
and journaling became like a kind of a helpful tool in that, and all throughout
Hmm.
theater school I did a lot of journaling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so it kind of brought me into songwriting. um
And tell us about that. How did you start
start
songwriting?
yeah, well when I kind of started writing a lot of songs when I was in my early 20s.
Hmm.
um and i was I was like at the end of my program studying theater in New York, but I was living with a bunch of musicians. And I had one roommate in particular, Stefan, who he was just really encouraging. He was a singer songwriter, and he was just really encouraging to me to write songs.
Hmm.
And I was always, he was always sharing ideas like
Yeah.
in their early stages. And I really liked just like hearing them and just giving kind of early feedback. And then yeah, he was just super encouraging, like why don't you write something, or just like, and yeah, like that kind of opened up the process for me, that I started to like write a song, and then I started to show somebody for the first time and they're really bad.
We all got
But
to start somewhere.
and yeah, it definitely, it it wasn't just like bam from then on I was writing songs a lot of the time, but it was something that I just kept coming back to, that I needed it for myself, and it was felt satisfying. Um and but then I look back, and I wrote some songs when I was like 9 or 10, so
It was
it was like
already
it was
there.
there.
Yeah, totally, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Um and I find that your lyrics are very poetic, and I enjoy that you just mentioned that you read poetry. Do you feel like that reading like have
Hmm.
you always been reading poetry? Has that really
Hmm.
like your choice of words in your songs,
Hmm.
they are, and that the the landscapes you take us through, like the loons,
Hmm.
and just the way you describe what you're
Hmm.
seeing just is very poetic and beautiful. And
Hmm.
where do you think that comes from?
Yeah, yeah. There's like the inspiration that reading poetry brings me. Like I have loved reading poetry for a really long time. That probably goes back to my theater
Mm.
background, just like reading beautiful texts and giving voice to text that like feels resonant and true.
Mm-hmm.
um but my own writing, I'm just all the time like very I have a very like profound awe of nature.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always the spending time in nature always brings me right back to myself,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um in a really grounding way. And I think it's taken me a long time to like develop a kind of like concept or philosophy around this, but if I can articulate like why I think it's so profound. I just think that as a human moving through experiences, like you're always on this wheel of time, and there's always like yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And then you have like your hopes, your big tomorrows, like your hopes and dreams for the future. And then the mind is just filled with like all of these different time
Mm-hmm.
lines
Yes, for sure.
while you're
Yeah.
living in the present moment. And that nature is just always in the present, and so it will always bring you back to the here and now if you kind of open to that.
Yes.
And to me it just kind of brings me back to a deeper, this is also like I started meditating when I was like 20,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
so this is all connected as well, that it's
Mm-hmm.
like there's this, I have like I'm seeking to like get off of the hamster wheel.
Yes.
So sometimes I hear music that's like lyrics wise is like, I'm so upset about this, I don't like this, and like that's the place that the lyrics are coming from. And to me
Mhm.
that's like, that feels like I'm just in my head,
Mhm.
like,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I want that when I'm writing I'm connecting with a place that's kind of like sits a bit deeper.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
so yeah.
Well, I feel like that really comes through in all of your songs, and also just not only in the words and the lyric choices, but also the emotion and like your perspective and how you're choosing to see, see the landscape you're like describing in one of your songs or this a situation. Like I did notice that listening through your music, like maybe in your beginnings, more your first releases, I'm hearing like more relationship angst kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
then it just really transitions into this like more global, you have concern for global issues, what's happening on the planet, and then also just the theme of nature throughout that as well. So yeah, I mean, it's you you hear it, and obviously you value it so much that you're out here living in Squamish, like whereas a lot of musicians will choose to live in more
Yeah.
city centers. It just shows how much you value that
Yeah.
connection. How is, speaking of, the space we're in, Squamish, is there a music scene here? Like how have
Yeah.
you found connecting with musicians here? Like what's the scene like? It's, I mean, Squamish is growing so
It's
much,
growing.
right? So
Well, I moved here right at the beginning of COVID, and then 2 years later, I had a child. So the
okay.
last 5 years are, yeah, like I've gone out and seen some
Yeah.
shows, and I've played some shows, but it hasn't been like a good sample size of
Yeah.
like my opportunities to like see what's out there.
Mhm.
But there's the Brackendale Art Gallery, which is a really, really cool art house and venue, and they do so many cool events.
Mhm.
So it's like a real cultural hub, and that it's been open for many, many years and was about to close, and then some new people took it over and kind of revived it. So it's definitely got new energy. There's a couple other,
What kind of stuff is happening there?
oh, there's like line dancing and nude drawings,
Oh.
and but then like Folks Raya from Vancouver. That was wanted to attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, some
Coming in for
cool
the
like
kill.
Dan Mangan and Georgia Harmer. Some cool like bigger acts have come through to play there. We did a Joni Mitchell tribute concert there that I played
Oh,
in
right.
in
Yeah.
the spring. So there's like a lot of music.
And people are coming out.
Oh yeah.
Like they're just
Oh yeah.
they
People
must
will
be
just
thirsty for
go
it.
to the bag for,
Just whatever
yeah.
reason. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just the spot. I feel like that's so typical, like kind of it's, I don't even feel like Squamish is a small town. Like I feel like it's growing into like it's
It's
pretty
like
much
a
a
mini Vancouver now.
yeah, it's like kind of a
Yeah.
city vibe happening already. But I feel like in small towns, like I've I lived on the Sunshine Coast for a while, and it's like if you want to go out, there's only like two spots you go to, and you just go, and you don't even really care who's performing there, because you got to go there and like get your socialization in,
Yeah.
and get some music in and some art and have an experience.
Yeah.
So that's
And
cool.
just,
It's kind of the same vibe here.
yeah,
Yeah.
like there's I mean, Chaos played a concert at a
Oh.
small venue in Squamish recently. The
Oh.
singer of Crab
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
Bucket.
yes, yes. No, I
So like
know
there's
Chaos.
some
Yes.
random like bigger people that now Squamish is like a place on the map culturally,
Okay.
kind of.
Cool. And I mean,
So
you are here now, so
I'm
let's
here.
loop you into that as well.
I'd love to be involved more. I still go to Vancouver quite a bit because that's I haven't I didn't really want to like start a whole new band. I really love my bandmates in
Yeah.
Vancouver, and I feel like we work great together. And so
Who are those bandmates?
Jason Winnikoff is the drummer,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, he just moved back to the East Coast, but we'll say he lives here part time because
Okay. He
he's
keeps
gonna
coming
be
back.
he's gonna be coming back for stuff. he's involved in so much cool stuff in Vancouver, but yeah, he's a phenomenal
Cool.
drummer. Winston Minkler is the bass player. He actually just came up to visit the other weekend. He had a gig in Squamish.
Nice. Okay,
He's had
see,
2
there you
gigs
go.
in Squamish recently. And Thomas Holler is the guitar player. And then when Jason's not around, Jesus Caballero is the drummer.
Okay.
So
Cool.
there's like a little bit of fluctuation, but yeah, at some point I thought I should just have a band in Squamish so I don't have to. But I like what we have. I just want to keep it going. So
yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Well,
I go to the
hopefully you
city
can
every
just
now
book
and then.
something and then they can come up here and they
Mm-hmm.
can, set up a
Camp.
tent in the backyard.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we recorded on Bowen Island, which was like a perfect
Right.
middle place. So I like drove down to Horseshoe Bay and picked them up and then
Yeah.
drove over to the island.
And did you hire a producer for
Yes.
it, or did you all kind of contribute your ideas?
So Winston Hoschild was the producer,
Okay.
but I mean, he really co-arranged the songs with us.
Okay.
He was there in rehearsals as the band was figuring things out.
Yeah.
And then every now and then he'd be like, okay, from a listener's perspective. And it was really helpful. Or,
Yes.
like, okay, the first time you played that, you did it like this. And then the second time you did it like that. And when we record, we should really nail that down. So he would just he was that outside eye, but it really helped
fine
us
tune
to like shape some things. And yeah, and then after the band left and I came back to Bowen for a few more days, he and I just did the finishing touches on all of the songs. So
nice.
yeah, I mean, I actually brought the songs over to him before we started recording, and we kind of workshopped them even. So he's like listed as a co-writer on some of them, because for a few of the songs he's like, oh, you need to like sharpen that up a bit, or you need to like, we just did some like tweaking of chords and stuff like that.
Okay.
So that was cool. Yeah.
Cool. But most of the arrangements you had kind of already mapped out, like most of that was already done, or did you do a lot of changing around, like once you got there?
We didn't change too much like once we got to Bowen Island.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had maybe a couple rehearsals with the band, and Winston present, and mostly the band was working it out. He was kind of like helping us to nail down our ideas. And then when we got to the island, we were just like recording several takes. And then that was just, at that point, there's just like bass, drums, guitar, electric guitar. So then later we're like, do we want to add synth? Do we want to add piano? Where do we want background vocals? And that I had like some semblance of some ideas, but Winston, the producer, and I really like, we just kind of did all of that in a few days at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Was there anything like new that you wanted to bring to this EP as opposed to your other projects?
Like musically, or like?
Yeah, I think production wise, lyrically, like, I mean, you obviously set some pretty strong intentions around like the theme of it and what you wanted to do with it post,
Yeah. I always want that all of the songs are like distinct from one another. Yeah, that no two songs are like too similar in their vibe or tempo or chord structure.
Yeah.
So I always feel that way about my projects, but this time I was like, I think a lot of the time I write a little bit too much from like what feels satisfying to me, and I don't think like, how is this going to land with the listener?
Right.
And my bandmates also, sometimes we can kind of get into that together where we're like, oh, this like feels really good musically for us because it's like challenging or exciting, but then if you listen to it and you're brand new to it, it might, you might not come along as easily. I have some songs on January Mind that, looking back, I'm like, that was fun, and I know we all like really enjoyed that, but that's not like a very popular song. It's not a song that was like catchy. So, and things like catchy and popular, they've never been words that I've like brought into the process before.
Yes, yeah.
But this time I was like, you know what? Some of the best songs that I've heard written by other people are like 3 chords.
Yeah.
And like, I can learn a lesson from that. And I can like simplify certain things and just not, it's not like to dumb it down. There's no like negative or positive like
No.
weight, but it's just like just trust that the message is there and all you need to do is communicate it.
Yes.
And you don't need to like, I don't know.
Yep. Yep. That's
So,
enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of like, okay, let's actually simplify that drum pattern.
Okay.
Let's like repeat that one more time so that it gets in people's heads a little bit more.
Right.
Yeah. So there's that. And then also something I enjoy when I'm listening to music, I really like the spaces when there's not singing going on and there's like just musical parts.
Yep.
Or a guitar solo. So like we've got
Yep.
a couple really cool guitar solos from Thomas on there, but I had to like remember to make space for those things.
Yeah.
So I just had the idea in the shower the other day. I was like, what if the next time I'm in a songwriting process, I like produce an entire song without any of the singing or lyrics. So just with a band,
Oh,
like
wow.
lay down some sequences of chords that's going to be like a verse and then a chorus and just like be in the how it feels as the music.
Yes.
And then like spend time with that before you even think what is the song going to be about.
Right. Well, that'll be cool.
So
Yeah. That'll
that
be
would
a good challenge. I feel like you're always up to challenge yourself as a songwriter, as an artist. Like I know that you and I have done some workshops at the School of Song, and like is there anything else that you've been up to or that you're doing to kind of, and like how, has that always been what inspires like the next song? Like is getting a little bit more knowledge, getting a new technique, is that kind of what keeps you going?
I can write a lot of songs in a period of time that kind of all just rely on my habits of songwriting. So I can look back at like, okay, there's like those 5 songs in a period of time that I wrote, and I was pretty much like playing similar chords in the same tuning, same strumming pattern, and I'm able to like write a full song there. But it's like, yeah, I do have this I am motivated by like, what do I not yet know that would like really serve me if I knew it, or if
I love that. I love that so much. People,
there's
listen
like
up. Georgia is giving tips right now. What do I not know
yes.
that
So like what do I not know that I don't know? So that's what I
Okay.
really want to say. So there's like, for example, you learn guitar and you learn to write songs and you've been writing in standard tuning your whole life. And then you listen to some other artists and you're like, dang, like how come those melodies just flow in a different way? And what are those overtones happening? And you realize, oh, that songwriter was writing in an open tuning, which means you have to learn a new skill. But it's really like, I think of it like with the songwriting courses, it's like an invitation to play and experiment.
Yes.
Like you don't have to take it. So
Yeah.
but recently I've been doing that. I've been like switching up the tunings. And sure enough, if you just hang out in a different tuning for a while, you naturally the melodies you're going to find are going to be different. You're going to just be like tricking your mind to not just go to its habitual places.
Yes. Cool.
So yeah, I am I'll always like finish a recording project and then I'll be like, okay, so for the next one.
Okay.
So like now that this is out, I'm like, okay, for the next year, I'm going to like try a bunch of open tunings and see what that does to my songwriting. And often I'll listen back to a voice memo of a song I wrote years ago and be like, okay, I would really love the opportunity to like rewrite that song, or I will rewrite it and I'll have like some of the lines stayed the same, but I'll be like, no, like all I was doing at that time was like these things, which I think I was doing out of habit, or that's just what I was. Those were like my choices at that time. But now with like a few more choices, what would I actually do with that? So
And what about picking up like a different instrument? Like, are you open to like learning a new instrument?
My first instrument was piano.
Oh.
But I haven't lived in a place where I've had a piano or been able to have a piano in
You
like
need space. Yeah.
yeah, I mean now we're starting to talk about getting a piano.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that would change a lot.
Yeah.
And like teach me how to speak was a songwriting course homework assignment to write on a different instrument or write without an instrument.
Okay.
So that time I went out on a walk and I was just singing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Like the piano was, did you take lessons?
I
or?
took lessons from when I was probably like 6 or 7 to about 13 or 14.
Okay, so you studied it for a while. Like you
Yeah.
have a great grasp on music theory, and I mean,
I
don't
still
yeah.
very basic.
Yeah.
But the way that I initially learned guitar was because I had that foundation in music from piano.
Okay.
So knowing what a C chord, what that means, knowing how that relates to a G chord. So a little bit of music theory, like knowledge of the scale and stuff like that. Major and minor, pretty basic, but like I went to the guitar already with some knowledge from piano.
Okay.
But then the whole time I've been writing songs, I haven't been using a piano.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be really interesting.
See what comes out of, what kind of sound comes out of you, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. No, I mean, I'm just soaking everything you're saying, soaking up everything you're saying, because I find that I kind of use the same chords a lot in my songs, and then I like get annoyed at that. I'm like, like I don't want to write another song with like a seventh or like just a C chord. I write a lot of songs in C lately. So yeah, I just love your perspective on that. So that's cool.
It can be interesting to like try to get out of it for a while and then try to come back.
Yeah. Because I'm sure it'll all, like, down the road, it'll all come together somehow, right? In the different pieces that you're gonna write. So being out here in Squamish, it feels a little bit isolated, but it's what you need for your art to flourish. How have you managed to stay connected to people to collaborate with, and has there been a thread of community in what you do?
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting because I feel like we talk a lot about this in my house, like with my partner. Like I've been such a community oriented person for my whole life, and then to like in a very short span of time move to Squamish, start a teaching, like full-time teaching career, have a kid. Like there's been this last little chunk of time was such a huge chapter change, and one of the big like longings that I feel is that I haven't been as like embedded with an artistic community as I would like. At the same time, I'm like building all these relationships through the school community that are like really vital for my life and my family, and that feels like really important. So yeah, I guess like in the past little chunk of time, it's really taken me like having a project that I'm working on to be able to then like organize people around it and come together. And there are so many cool things going on that I want to go to that I'm like, oh, there's like that song share happening once a month at Green Auto. I want to go to that. I'm in the WhatsApp chat group for it and I've never gone, and it's been going on for like a year, and it's like people that went to the Adrian Lanker School of Song online course are meeting up in person.
Where
and
is
sharing
it?
songs at Green Auto. You should go.
What's Green Auto?
It's a venue. It's a cool new venue
in Squamish,
no, in
Vancouver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Green Auto, people.
There's like artists that I love. My good friend, her artist name is my sister Maria. She's started performing lots, and I've been to like one of her shows. There's just so many things going on that I'm like, got tickets for Ila Bamba concert, wanted to go with you, didn't go.
Yeah.
So I have had to like just, I could spend so much time being like sad that I don't have the level of like flexibility and freedom.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I weigh that with like, but what is my life? Like, if I did do all of those things, then I would be spending less time with my son. And there's just like
There's always that.
becoming a parent and working and wanting to do your art. Yeah, I think that was a big part of the grief in the
Yeah.
beginning, was like, oh my god, I had no idea how like free I was.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
looking back, there are so many things that I wanted to do that I could have done that now it's
Mhm.
much harder to do,
Yeah.
and just logistically.
Mhm.
And I'm like, dude, when you were 20, you could have done it. Like, what was stopping you?
Right.
But it's such a beautiful thing to become a parent and to have a family. And I'm just in this chapter where like calm and stability and like a chilled out nervous system are like my
Oh, I
top
hear you on
values.
I hear you on that.
They're
I
so
hear
good.
you.
And like,
Yeah.
I know you had like a bumpy week and you had to just like stay home from work.
Yeah.
I'm not teaching throughout the summer, but I am doing my prep work for the year. And like I got my period and I just was sad, and I was like, I'm gonna take the entire day today, like I'm gonna drop my son off at daycare and I'm
Yeah.
gonna do what I need to do to like
Yeah.
be with myself in this, because I don't have the time otherwise. Like I'm
Yeah.
either taking care of someone or
Yep.
teaching a bunch of kids, or if I am playing a gig, then that kind of becomes another set of tasks. So to like take care of myself is like, and my family is such a huge priority, and then it comes at a cost. And so I'm just now, with my son a little bit older now, I'm just now like, I have my energy back, we're all sleeping more,
Yeah.
I'm just getting a sense for like, okay, sustainably long term, how can these things kind of like move and flow together?
Yeah.
And I'm feeling good about it, but it's different than how it used to look.
Yeah.
And if I try to compare it with, you know, someone who's more established, or someone who's the same age as me, been doing it the same length of time, but doesn't have the same kind of like
Yeah.
parenting commitments, like, yeah, I can get very like muddled in like, how am I supposed to do this? But
You can go down the rabbit hole of like comparing yourself, I feel, can go down the rabbit hole of like negative
yeah,
thinking, and if you don't nip that in the bud, you can definitely, end up in a
yeah,
dark place. So
yeah. And
yeah,
I,
it always goes back to like, the presence and being in
yeah,
the present moment, and trying to, you know, uh just stay focused on yourself, like it's
yeah.
everyone's journey is so unique.
Yeah, and I have to remind myself, I have to like have a little meeting with myself from when I was 25, because I have a lot of the things in my life that at 25 I longed for.
Mm,
And I feel really grateful and really empowered when I realize like I've brought a lot, like all of this goodness into my life, and I've chosen so many of these things that are now here in my life. And so like I better make sure that I'm like aware of that and enjoying it and not taking that for granted and not like wishing that away because now I long for something else.
yes, that is
But
so real.
so there's that, but then there's also like, but I still need to be like a full, I need to be all parts of myself. Like I said earlier that like part of you dies when you become a mother.
Honestly, though,
But there's a rebirth,
seriously, there
and there's
is.
like something gets, you know, my friend was telling me like the maiden dies when you become a mother, and nobody
Yeah,
tells you that.
yeah.
You're
And you
like, I will
can't really
never
know it
again be a
until you're
maiden.
there,
And I did not know what being a maiden was. I didn't
right?
know that I was that. I
Yeah,
didn't know like what treasures I just wanted to be a mother. And now that I'm a mother, I'm like, wait, there were so many good things about like being untied and
right. Yes.
yeah. So, but thankfully, I'm in a situation where, like, the people that are really close to me, and my partner's a number one, like number one of that. They're like, go spend some time in New York, connect with your old friends, like, go to that music festival you want to go to. Like, it's really supported and encouraged, and it's more myself that has to like let go of my expectations of the role that I'm playing as a wife and a mother. But I am, I think, like coming to a better place of just like that support is real, and that I can like live into that and trust it and I'm allowed to like go. I like today. I sent my son and my husband grocery shopping.
Yeah.
I was like, my friend's coming over.
Yeah.
We're doing a podcast in the backyard, and it needs to be quiet.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, cool. And they're there. And
Yes.
like, I think a year or two ago, I would have just like beaten myself up and been like, how I can't do. I'm not gonna be able to do this thing I really want to do. And sure enough, my partner's like, no, we can make it happen. And my son's old enough now that like he can go with the flow and go be somewhere else for a bit.
Yeah. Amazing.
It's like a
Amazing
new
work.
reality.
Good for you. Good for you. I'm so proud of
Yeah.
you. Honestly, I mean, that's just such a huge feat as mothers to prioritize our own needs and our spirit, because I mean, we have to set that example for our children, and and it takes a willingness to want to do that,
Yeah.
and women, I think, in general, are afraid to like just take up space and and to be in their fullness, because like honestly, that affects how we show up in all the other areas in our life. If we're not feeding our spirit and on our creative self, and our endeavors and our passions and our all the things we want to do and accomplish in this life, we're just gonna be walking around like martyrs, and like we
Yes.
don't need more martyrs in the
Let's
world.
be done with that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
let's leave the martyrdom. And I had to go through that journey too. Like, you're not alone in that. I noticed I was being a martyr too. Like, I was always kind of going in my mind being like, I mean, for me it was more like, oh, I'm a single mom, like feeling so like disadvantaged. And I'm just like, no, like there are single moms out there like doing amazing things. This is just all in my head that I'm like putting a limitation on myself about what I can accomplish. I just have to be like super intentional now with my time, and it's finite to me, and it's just like
you
tightening that all up.
Do you take the time to like give yourself a pat and be like, I'm raising a human and I'm doing
Not
it
enough. Not enough.
I feel like if you, because if that feedback's not coming like externally, but you should still get it, like,
yes,
to be a single parent and to be like rocking it, and like look at you, like you have
Thank
energy and you're
you.
making a podcast and you like drove how many hours today to
in between my work day,
and then to be here and to like generate really great, very like life-giving conversations. And
thanks.
you're keeping it, you've been raising a human for 4.5 years now, and think of the mother that she gets to look up to.
Oh,
in
thank
you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh god, earlier this summer, I was like, I have been like self victimizing myself
Yep.
for so long.
Yeah. Yes.
And I don't know how much of it is like tied to womanhood or culturally or what. I don't know where I learned it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's a lot of people around me being like, you can do it. And I'm all the time being like, no, I can't. Yes. But then I'm like, no, yes, I can. But then what is this battle going on? Yeah. And okay. Can I share something that?
Yes, please. This is
mind
what we're
in the
here
middle of
for.
that? Because it was like a hard look in the mirror to be like, I have been creating situations that then lead me to think that I am like on the losing end of that. But in a situation that I like made happen. And
can you give an example of that?
Yes.
Just so I can
yes.
kind of
So like this would
understand
happen all the time in Marco's first year and a half. I would be home with the baby all day and I didn't sleep all night and I would be really tired, and I would just be like thinking to myself but also saying out loud like, I wish I just had time to do something for myself. And then my husband would finish work and be like, okay, like, do you want to have some time for yourself? Like, why don't you go to yoga class? And I would be like, okay, thank you. And then I would like be out the door and I would just be in a puddle of tears because I like couldn't bring myself to do the thing. And I would be like torn because I was like, am I even allowed to leave my baby? Like, I didn't know. I don't know. Something just like
Yes.
stopped me. I was like,
Yeah.
I cannot go to a yoga class. I cannot take care of myself. And then I would come home and be crying, and my husband was like, "What the fuck?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? Like
Yeah.
you could." And then I would spend like an hour talking with him about it, and he's like, "You could have been at the yoga class and come home by now."
Right.
And yeah,
It
something
goes deep within
something in
us.
the beginning just like stopped me. I could not, like, it didn't make sense in my being to like give 1000% of myself to a child and then think that I could give something to myself.
Yeah.
But then over time, I remember like the first time I went to Vancouver to like do a band rehearsal, and I went for like 2 hours and came home. And so I was away from my son for like 4 hours. And I had to like talk to my therapist about it. And I
Yeah.
was like, this was so hard for me to do and so good for me. And he was like, okay, do it again.
Yeah.
You
Let's
did it.
do this
You
on
did
repeat
it.
now.
Do it again. Like, you know,
Yes.
objectively that it's not harming anyone.
Yeah.
So like,
And
get like, it will get easier. But yeah, that like just overwhelming like emotions that came with doing something for myself that would stop me from doing it. But then actually, if I do the thing
mm-hmm.
and I'm like fully allowed to be selfish for, you know, these hours of the day, I'm not mothering anyone in this chunk of time, somebody else taking care of him.
Yeah.
And then getting some energy back from that, it's like it really fuels a much healthier cycle where then I come back refreshed. I come back with like,
Yes.
my partner's happier because I'm just like lighter,
Filled
and
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it is for other parents, but for me there was just like, it was just, I don't know, so much expectation on myself, or
Yeah.
not really seeing what it looked like, maybe because I always remember that my mom was all the time with us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember her having a passion that she pursued.
Right.
She was like a very happy, present, energetic, very caring mother, but like, and so I think there was like a little cognitive dissonance there where I'm like, that's what a good mother looks like. But how come I'm doing that and I still feel like I still need something? Like, how can that be?
Yeah.
But now I heard something in a podcast, unfortunately I can't remember what it was, but it's like when the plane is crashing and they tell the adult to put on the oxygen mask first so that then you can,
yeah,
it's like that. And now I feel that, and it builds a cycle where I'm like, I'm much more motivated to do the thing for myself because I'm like, I've gotten over like whether I'm allowed to do it or not.
Yeah.
Like, I know that if I go do that, if I go work out or go sit in there for 2 hours and sing, I know that when I come out, like, I will be better and everybody around me will benefit from that. And and I will benefit from that. And it's just,
it's so important. It's essential. It's essential. And, you know, for me, it's, I think early on I learned that love, at least with my story, like love is about self-abandonment. And so, it absolutely played out in a lot of ways, with my daughter as well, differently. But yeah, I mean, even now I can still see little bits of it where, you know, even trying to plan for my own music and this podcast and the things that I love and wanting to nurture it, you know, I definitely still feel like, okay, like when I have my daughter, like there's going to be 2 hours of that day where like I just do my own thing, and I have to like really stick to that because I can totally get just caught up in just being focused on her. And it is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. And as for you, it was a very like emotional reaction to choose yourself, you know. So yeah. But to kind of end it on like on the tie it back into like songwriting and music and like being creative, like how important do you think it is for, like, as being a mom, like, I mean, do you value your songwriting and your art more than you ever have?
I think so. And I think I have a new like appreciation and
Mhm.
understanding for its function in me. Um that like if I'm journaling or songwriting, I'm going to a place where I'm connecting with like my deepest self or my spirit. And that's the place that I want to be living from in all of my life. So if I want to be a better mother, I need to live from that place. And so songwriting is just a practice to like, every day or every week, like sit in that space a bit. For some people it's like meditation or yoga, and
Yeah.
for me it's really the creative practice, which
Yeah.
sometimes takes other forms, but most of the time it's just returning to a practice over and over again. um I feel like every time I like go you know sing some songs or channel some language that then I put into a song, I'm like, okay. So I just feel like relief and relaxed, and like something is flowing through me now
Mhm.
that is like helping me to be more whole.
Mhm.
And I want to be living from that place as a mother, as a teacher, as a wife. And every like bump or challenge that I come upon in these other parts of my life, I can usually like go back to songwriting or journaling to work it out. So it's kind of like I see it as like a self-healing process
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
then, okay, there are these like art objects that come from it and those can be shared. But for how songwriting lives in my life, it's always been something first and foremost like healing.
Yeah.
Not to get too like woo
No,
woo,
no. I mean,
but
I concur
yeah.
100%. I've always said that songwriting has been
Mhm.
like the thing that has kept me
Mhm.
alive through
Mhm.
my depression and
Mhm.
the different mental health struggles I have.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know where I would be without it. So
Mhm.
it's just like, yeah, I 100%
Yeah.
agree. Like I don't think I would have evolved into the human that I am
Mhm.
today without my writing, like
Yeah.
journaling and songwriting. Like it's just been the outlet.
Mhm.
And really, I just would wish that, and I'm sure you agree, like everyone needs to have a creative outlet, like whether
Mm.
you choose that to be songwriting
Mhm.
or, dance or
Yeah.
music, like we need something to bring us back into this present moment. And I think that
Mhm.
sitting down to songwrite or
Mhm.
play your instrument, like it just, or going into nature, it just does that for you.
Mhm.
Because we do live in this really like fast-paced society where it's like, incredibly hard to just like separate yourself from the busyness of that, and to just
Mhm.
choose yourself, for
Yeah.
crying out loud. Like who knew that would be such a feat, right? um well,
Yeah.
and how great too that you have this EP, Child of My
Mhm.
Heart. You have it out there to share with
My
everybody.
second baby. I didn't have a
Yes,
second child
yeah.
yet. It feels like a little baby was born.
And that your son has, you have that song on there, Forever Blue. You
Mhm.
have these, like, it's just such a
Most of the
heart.
streams actually are from us listening to that song
Yeah, okay.
on the way to and from daycare on repeat because he says "mommy song, mommy song."
Oh, you
I'm like, oh,
request
this
it.
is great for my
Yeah, right.
streaming
Yeah.
statistics. I've heard the song 1,000 times. Yeah,
Yeah, but
he
now you
requests
have this
it.
piece of work that's out there for
Mhm.
us to enjoy and for him
Mhm.
to look back on
Mhm.
and have as well. So,
Yeah.
um thank you so much for taking the time
Yeah.
out of your day to have this conversation and to invite me to your home
Yeah.
here out in Squamish. um what can we look forward to next?
Ah, yes.
I mean, aside from you doing the music first and then the writing, that's gonna probably
Oh
be your next
yeah.
project. But
I'll
are
have
you?
like some secret homework assignments I'll put
Yes.
myself on, but there's some live videos coming of um 3 of the songs from Child of My Heart.
Okay.
So I
Nice.
went back to a different studio, Park Sound Studio in North Van with my band, and
Okay.
Sam Tudor filmed videos of us playing 3 of
Okay.
the songs, and those are
Cool.
ready. And he just sent me a
Nice.
teaser today, so
Awesome.
I'm gonna sprinkle those out over the next
Nice.
little while. I wanted it to be like a follow up to the EP
Yeah.
coming out, so you can like, yeah, they'll be slightly different.
Mhm.
So we didn't have all that post production like adding synths and stuff, but it's pretty cool to see the live band playing those
Yeah, for
songs.
sure. Did you add any kind of new elements to it, or did you just play it
We
pretty much the same on the record?
It's pretty close. I would say it's make a bit closer to what you would get if you
Yep.
came to a live show. So
Okay.
maybe like some of the more ambient kind of background glue sounds.
Yeah.
Like piano and keys. I didn't have a keyboard player on the live band version. So yeah, it's just a 4-piece band. So a little bit, it would be like what you get when you come to a live show.
Awesome.
So pretty close to the recordings, but a little different.
Cool.
Yeah.
And about
a couple shows coming up.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's this awesome Norwegian singer, Thea Wang.
Okay.
She's been opening up for Aurora. I'm gonna say that again because it's Thea Wang has been opening up for Aurora.
Okay.
Who's like, I'm a big fan of her. Anyway,
Cool.
Thea Wang is coming to play 2 shows in Squamish, and I'm it'll be a double bill with me for one of the shows at the Bag at the
Cool.
Brackendale Art Gallery on September 7th, and then the night before on September 6th, we're doing an outdoor show, and I'll play an opening set at the Junction Park Pavilion, downtown Squamish.
Awesome.
And I have a Vancouver show on August 28th. I don't know if this podcast will probably not be out yet.
Probably not. Yeah.
Like, just had a show. Yeah. And planning a Vancouver EP release show with the band.
Nice.
But don't have a date yet.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we are all going to look forward to whatever you decide to put forward next. I know that this EP has had an impact on me. So keep doing what you're doing and bringing this wonderful energy that you have to the world, because we are all just soaking it up. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Adriana.
You're welcome.
Let's have a cup of tea.
Yeah.